Hi everyone, this is Kassie, and these are the weekly tarot horoscopes for the week of November 8 to November 14. Today our deck is the Magic Tarot deck, designed by the Spanish illustrator Amaia Arrazola. A very modern and colorful deck, reminds of graffiti, and you can see last week's predictions in the video above. I'm always comparing last week's to this week's energies to see how the vibes change from one week to another, and the impression I'm getting from today's spread is that the cards show a need for balance this week. We have twos that bring a moment of pause and reflection, sixes that restore balance. So it feels like a week of progress, but a thoughtful progress that takes into account the needs of all people involved. But let's see the predictions for each sign. I always make a close-up for each card so that you can focus on the image if you want and see if you get any personal insights or messages from Spirit. For Aries, we had the Chariot last week, and this week it's the King of Pentacles. It appears that you managed to overcome an obstacle or a dilemma, and now energies are settling down. The Chariot that you got last week is a water card, and water cards are volatile. But with an earth card like the King of Pentacles, you will feel the shift this week. You will feel the stability of earth this week. That's why things will get more solid, especially those things that felt uncertain last week or volatile and changing all the time. You will notice that this week things are stabilizing. The King of Pentacles is a slow and passive card. So things are slowing down too a little, and developments will happen more slowly from now on. An earth sign male, which is Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus, may cause you a dilemma. They may present you with two options, and maybe not in a clear and straightforward way. Perhaps those options will be implied in some way, and you'll have to choose. The thing is, the decision will not be easy. There are pros and cons, and you will find yourself in a rather difficult position. Also, what could make things more complicated is that this person can be hot and cold, or they will display an erratic behavior, meaning there isn't stability with them, because at times they show a very different personality from the ones you thought they had in the first place. That's why it's possible that you don't know exactly where you stand with them, and that could add to the confusion a little. But try to see things under a more reasonable lens, and you will be able to do so this week, because the Chariot, like I said, is a water card, and now that Earth is blending with it, it will be easier for you to have a more grounded and practical approach. Money matters and matters of property seem to be resolved this week after effort, and perhaps after the intervention of someone in a position of authority. So if you know such a person that could help you resolve an issue, don't hesitate to contact them, because they will be open to helping you, and energies seem quite favorable for that. Also, there might be an issue with a vehicle, so make sure you double check your car or your bike, and if there's anything of concern, go get it checked to be sure. Since the Chariot shows two different energies, trends, situations, it's possible that you manage to reconcile or combine those different energies. This week you will see the positive results of that effort. And it's very possible, since the King of Pentacles is a card of money, that you are coming into some money this week. For Taurus, we had the Hierophant, and now it's the Two of Pentacles. Another Earth card this week, which means that things are stable, remain stable. However, stability at times means that things are not moving as fast as you'd like them to move. So there might be some delays, or the pace is slower than you'd like. Good news are that you are still in your element, and energetically you are aligned with this energy. You do want to think things through anyway, and you dislike sudden changes and unexpected disruptions. That's why under this energy you are given the opportunity to do so, to take your time without rushing or forcing. This week you will reflect upon two different options, be it job opportunities or two different persons, or even two different alternatives, and you will try to maintain a balance. Maybe because you don't really want to make a decision at this stage, and you will try to buy some time, or another will do so. That's why this isn't a week of a big change. It's more of a week that you will try to sustain a certain situation, probably because you are indecisive about what to do next. With the Two of Pentacles this week, you may be asked to take a break for now, to slow down and prioritize, and it's okay to take time for you, especially if you are rethinking a decision you made last week. Pay attention to what's important and what the right thing to do is, but don't take yourself too seriously this week. Especially after the seriousness of last week, it's clear that you need to make a pause. Pentacles are the physical world, the things we can see, feel and touch. That's why it will be good to connect with your physical senses this week, with your physical body. 22 to 30 December seems to be a time when things that start now will somehow stabilize or take their final shape. So if you have made a mistake now, or you want to revise or rethink something, there's still time to do so. There's still time for you to make adjustments if you want. In your personal relationships, there might be some ups and downs because twos show such issues. So things seem to be a little more fluid now. But that's a good thing in a sense, because it will leave room for changes, since things have not solidified yet. So if you are dealing with a situation that seems very ambiguous or uncertain, it appears that things have not taken their final shape yet, so you gotta wait for things to unfold completely. If you are having a dilemma of financial or medical nature, this combination advises you to seek expert advice. Don't look on the internet or don't ask your friends. Go find someone who really knows what they're doing. The Two of Pentacles is Jupiter in Capricorn. That's a very lucky placement for this week, for money and practical matters. And since the Hierophant does show divine protection, someone from above is watching over you, and you will have some good luck this week. For Gemini, last week we had the Eight of Pentacles, and now it's the Four of Swords. After last week's efforts, you are now taking a break, as you feel that you need to rest and replenish your energy, and there's a situation that requires your attention. But don't make any rushed decisions and don't take impulsive action. Take some time to think things through, and there might be something or someone who's draining your energy, and you will find that one day they are willing to work with you to make efforts to make something of value. Then they withdraw and become inactive or slow, and this fluctuation has started to drain you, and you feel the need to take some distance and see things from another perspective before you decide to remove yourself from the situation altogether. Because it appears that you do have such thoughts at the moment. If something's getting old or draining and you are dealing with the same issues over and over, it's possible that you feel the need to make a new start. On the other hand, you may find that physical labor, because the Eight of Pentacles does show physical labor, puts your mind in a state of meditation. So if you need to come up with an idea or to solve a problem and your mind feels stuck, try to work out or walk your dog or do housework and see how that can put your mind at rest and in a creative state that new ideas will be born spontaneously without you trying to force them. The Four of Swords is Jupiter in Libra. That's a very good placement because it will make you look your best this week. You will have a very graceful quality that will make you shine. So if you want to get someone's attention or to make a good impression for an interview, for instance, this week you will have Jupiter's blessings, and that's a great energy that allows you to get along with people, and you will find that others are treating you in an equal way. And they are very favorable and open to what you have to say. That's why this is a good week to ask for a favor or to mediate a conflict. Thursday seems to be a significant day for you this week, and since fours represent the completion of something, it's possible that around the end of the week you will have news about something you wanted done, or it could be news about a successful endeavor that comes to a stage of completion. And there might also be a reward for you, because fours indicate the end of a cycle, the end of something, but they usually bring rewards. For Cancer, we had the Ten of Wands last week, and this week it's the Two of Swords. After last week's pressure, this week you will make a deal, a compromise, or an agreement, and energies will settle down a little, and all that will happen through communication and talks, and it appears that communication is picking up this week. You won't make any final decisions, and you may not be able to agree on a final outcome as things are still fluid, but you will make some sort of truce. There will still be a concern or even a burden about a choice that you need to make, but things appear to be much less intense this week, so some pressure will definitely be released. And maybe suddenly you will start seeing options where there was no option before. That's why you will find yourself in a calmer state of mind, or at least in a position where you are more willing, ready, or open to negotiations. Although the Ten of Wands is a fire card, and the Two of Swords is an air card, and fire with air makes something stronger, more intense, they intensify each other. The nature of the Two of Swords, which is to pacify things, means that although there might be a tendency to get in heated situations and conversations again, at the same time there will be the awareness that things can easily get out of control under this energy. So I believe that all parties involved will be aware of that and will try to maintain a peaceful balance. Things that started between 23 September and 2 October may be completed this week, or someone or something that you were dealing with at that stage may resurface again. And since the Two of Swords is the moon in Libra, it will be difficult to trust your feelings, because there will be many mood swings this week and emotional fluctuations, and one day you will feel that things are one way and then the next day another way, and there won't be emotional stability. And the same you should expect from others too. Try not to get too caught up in emotional reactions, and most of all, don't try to understand another's feelings or emotional reactions. Leave that for next week, when things will be more stable, hopefully, because you're a Cancer and you are deeply affected by emotional turbulence. However, at the same time, you will be much more diplomatic, and you can easily get what you want if you try to keep things balanced and make another see what the benefits of a situation are for them. So this is an auspicious time if you want to make some adjustment in a relationship. Just keep in mind that those should be for the greater good of all involved. If you act in a selfish way, you will meet strong resistance from others. For Leo, We got Temperance last week, and this week it's the Eight of Swords. The Temperance made you have a moderate and reserved approach to things last week, but it appears that this week you will be much more guarded, especially if an obstacle comes up and you don't know how to resolve a situation, as things continue to be very fluid. And with the Eight of Swords, you may fear another's reaction or what others will say about your actions and decisions. And maybe you've been expecting a shift that didn't happen, and now you're feeling trapped and unable to break free from a certain situation because you fear that escaping bears the risk of getting hurt. And it's true that you cannot control external forces, and at times there are no easy answers or an easy way out, but you can sense that change is needed. And it might help if you use the power of your mind in a positive manner and not in a way that's immobilizing you. Because under the energy of this eight, you can easily feel immobilized. But the Eight of Swords is a mental prison basically. It's all those things that our mind generates, our thoughts about the situation and our fears that make it so challenging. And if you take a step back, and you might have tried to do so last week, you will see that things aren't final or even binding, and you will be able to see that there are ways out of a situation that aren't necessarily that disruptive. And the energy of the Temperance last week may inspire you as to how you can do that. Around the end of last May, between 22 and 30, there might have been an event, the repercussions of which will be felt and experienced this week. So think of what happened around that time and who you are dealing with, and you might have an insight of what to do at this stage. The Eight of Swords is Jupiter in Libra, and your ability to multitask will be great this week, so don't hesitate to take on an extra responsibility or two, and that might take your mind away from stressful thoughts too, so the benefit will be double. Your mind will be very sharp, and you will want to read things, to learn things, to talk about things. Everything about communication will be expanded. That's why I expect that if communications were slow last week, this week things are speeding up and picking up, and you will find that it's easier for you to talk your way out of a situation and to give someone good and convincing reasons why you shouldn't or can't do something, and that way to manage and get yourself out of a difficult situation eventually. So if you feel restricted or trapped, at the same time, this energy gives you the opportunity to use your mind and your words to evade any negative consequences. For Virgo, we had the Knight of Pentacles last week, and this week it's the Queen of Pentacles. Things are getting more emotional this week. You had the Knight of Pentacles, and that's a masculine energy, while now you have the passive Queen of Pentacles that shows energies settling down, in a sense that you will be able to talk about how you feel, and you will find that others are more willing and more open to talk about their feelings. Overall, Earth energy continues, as the Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are Earth cards, so don't expect breakthroughs this week or a big change or bold moves, but do expect slow and steady progress, and that's actually the kind of progress that you like, as it's so attuned to your own energy and your vibes, and you can feel quite at home under this influence. You will be satisfied with the developments and the results you produce, and you will do extremely well in practical matters and career, and expect that if you are looking for a job, this week you might get a positive answer, because the Queen of Pentacles is associated with such matters. Also, since this Queen is the card that comes after the Knight, it shows a smooth process. So there will be something you're trying to do that will come easy this week without too much effort. So try to go with the flow, because it appears that the universe is on your side this time. The Queen of Pentacles shows an ongoing situation that isn't changing easily, and that's partly because the people involved are either scared of change or there's a kind of comfort zone that keeps them there. And there is some stubbornness too and delays, because the situation is in some ways convenient, even if it's not fully satisfying. And even if we usually burn out if we go too fast, at times we burn out because we are going too slow and we are getting bored. So there's a risk here that too much slow moving and passive energy will make you feel restless this week and maybe a little bored. The Queen of Pentacles represents a person of an earth sign, usually a Capricorn, who will require your energy and attention this week. And also, since Pentacles are physical, associated with the physical body, your physical activities will be more intense this week, and sexual energies too. You will receive good news about finances and a practical issue that you've been dealing with for a while now, and it appears that this week it will finally get sorted. You will find that it's easier to approach a situation with a down-to-earth and sensible manner, and you will have to be resourceful with what you have and avoid taking risks. Common sense should be your friend this week. For Libra, we had the Judgment last week, and this week it's the Eight of Pentacles. The Judgment last week must have opened a door for you, or you came to a very important realization. And with the Eight of Pentacles this week, you will set high standards, which means you will find that your expectations now are higher than usual, and you will probably be less forgiving if another fails to live up to your high standards. Also, you must have decided to change the way you are dealing with a situation or with someone, and you are now adopting a more practical and maybe less emotional approach. So this week you may start reassessing what's in it for you, and you may even decide to make some drastic changes. However, those changes will be thought out through careful and thorough consideration, and you will generally feel more grounded this week and less prone to fall for another's tricks or lies. It appears that the lesson has been learned now, and you are using this knowledge and this experience you gained to put things on a new basis and to make a situation work for you rather than against you. That applies to personal or professional relationships, and it will feel as if you are graduating in a sense, and that will trigger changes in many areas of your life, like a domino effect, and you will see that you start attracting different types of people and different situations that will unfold in the coming months in the right timing. But from now on, you will start feeling those shifts, first internally and then externally. 23 August to 1st September might have been a significant phase for you, and maybe you will experience a completion of events that happened around that time, or something that was stopped or blocked then will get unblocked and will continue this week. The Eight of Pentacles is the Sun in Virgo, and that's very positive for career or money matters, and it helps you get things done in an efficient way. You will probably have news this week in those areas of your life, and the Sun in Virgo rewards those who work diligently. So rest assured that you will get a reward, something good for your efforts. And the Eight of Pentacles basically means that there's a skill that you know, but you haven't mastered yet, and you are now in the process of doing so. So perhaps this week you will decide to continue your studies or to polish your skills in some way, And that will be a good thing because it will lead you to a better life situation. For Scorpio, we had the World, and now it's the Ace of Swords. Maybe you decided to end something last week, and that might have triggered a realization, and now it appears that you are deciding to make a new beginning, or a new idea came to your mind, as you are now thinking much more clearly than before. And it appears that there have been or will soon be some revelations that will make you understand and assess a situation much better than before. And you will find that this is an opportunity for you to consciously create things that you desire to have in your life. And life will actually bring you the opportunities to do so, the right conditions, the right people. This week you will probably decide to take on a challenge, and that's either in your personal or in professional life, and that will lead to the solution of a long-standing issue. So maybe you were dealing with the same things over and over, and you now feel tired of doing that, and you will finally decide to take action, and you may be wondering what took you so long. But try not to blame yourself for anything, because in order for you to take action and change a situation, clarity was needed, but you didn't have that clarity up to now, and now you will feel that you have laser focus, and you will feel that anything is possible. Just one thing that you need to take into account: don't allow your emotions to cloud your reasoning as they did in the past. There's a situation where you need to take your power back, and in fact, life is giving you a weapon at this stage for you to do so. The Ace of Swords is a weapon, is a double-edged sword. The Ace of Swords is communication, and fast communication. If you've been feeling that communication with someone wasn't what it should be, it appears that this week things change for the better, and some much needed conversations will happen, especially since under this energy, misunderstandings and misinterpretations will be cleared up, and you will be able to put things on a new basis, especially in terms of communication and how you express your thoughts to others. The Ace of Swords is a card of power and control, and it's also about making decisive moves. And that's why you will decide to make some moves this week that might appear a little disruptive or too forceful, but have no fear, as that's actually what you need to do at this stage to get unstuck and to open new doorways that will allow you to create much better conditions for yourself. But also, it will force others to respect you more and to take into account your own needs too. For Sagittarius, it's the Magician we have this week, while last week it was the Five of Cups. You will experience a big shift this week, Sagittarius, because from the Five of Cups you got last week, this week the Magician came up for you, and that's a big change. It's about taking the situation in your hands. The Magician is a card of action, and you will feel very confident and ready to act this week, and in fact your actions will bring positive results. The energy of the Magician is much more compatible with yours, as the Magician is an air sign and you're a fire sign, and what air does to fire is that it makes it stronger. Your actions will be inspired, and you will move in a direction that you want to go, and you will feel much more optimistic, which will be reflected not only on your actions but also on the way others respond to you. That's why you should expect that this week things will go your way, and people will give you the response that you want to get. Now there might be someone who's coming and going into your life, and that's another manifestation of the Magician, and maybe they are an air sign, Gemini, Libra or Aquarius, and they want to have things their way. and with this behavior they are trying to manipulate and control the situation. How successful they will be depends on the kind of reaction you will give and how you will respond to this attitude, which means that if you play their game, they will continue doing the same thing over and over, and maybe that's not exactly what you want. If that's the case, the way to get out of this vicious circle is to change the way you treat them and become a little unpredictable. Remember that you are the only person in this world that can use your abilities, your talents, your skills, so try to make a good use of your gifts. There is magic in this world, that's the message of the magician, and miracles can happen, but it's about trusting your ability to create them. This week you will understand that you do have options and possibilities. It's just a matter of choosing the right path. The astrological association of the magician is Mercury, and Mercury favors communication, negotiation, intellectual activities, traveling, which means that this is a good week to make plans and get involved in any of the above. For Capricorn, we had the Death last week, and this week it's the Six of Swords. If you decided to put an end to a situation last week, this week you will start seeing the new destination that awaits you, and in fact the Six of Swords is the card of moving on, which can be emotional and mental, but it can also be a physical move that you are about to make or a journey, while at the same time you are walking away from a rather stressful situation. It's not that you have resolved all the issues, and in the near future there will still be things that you need to sort out, but you will do so with a clearer mind and with a more grounded and logical approach. And maybe a disruption or an ending that happened in the previous days has opened a new door for you. And since the Six of Swords is an air card, expect fast developments that will lead to improvement of any situation, and stress will lessen as you will be able to move away from unhealthy energies. If you feel lost and you don't know which direction to take, it's important to trust that life is already taking you to the right direction. It's important to keep moving like a bicycle that's balanced only when it's in motion, and if you stop and stall, stagnant energy will be generated. This is not a time to wait, to procrastinate, or to postpone. This is a time to act. The Six of Swords is Mercury in Aquarius, and that's about being diplomatic and remaining neutral. So if anyone pushes you to take sides this week, don't. Maintain a more detached position and filter situations through a rational lens. You will find that someone is being very unpredictable or very unconventional this week, and that might surprise or shock you a little, and you too may even be tempted to break some rules, which is okay as long as you are aware of what you are doing and what the consequences might be. This is about taking responsibility for your ideas and how those ideas inspire your actions. You will find very pleasant company this week, and you will be able to connect with people that have a very fresh energy, and you do need to connect with new people at this stage. If you look back, you will realize how much you've changed over the last few months, and change is still in process. You have started a new life stage and you are headed in directions that will be new and exciting, and the first week of February will be particularly important, so make a note for that time and see what kind of energies manifest those days. For Aquarius, we had the Eight of Cups and now it's the Six of Wands. After the highly emotional Eight of Cups, this week the Six of Wands sets a much different tone to your days. The Eight of Cups speaks about emotions and the decisions you made in the previous days or the experience you had must have been highly charged emotionally. But now you will feel that it's time for action, and this week you will make moves and things will start moving forward. Sixes are interactive and they show an exchange of energy between you and another, or between you and a group of people. And this one is about showing or receiving appreciation, admiration for what you offer. The Six of Wands shows strong attraction, so expect intense chemistry, strong sexual vibes, warm feelings. If things were out of balance in the previous weeks, expect a big improvement this week. Expect that you will finally find yourself on the same wavelength with another, and you will be able to find common ground if common ground wasn't there before. You might have a secret admirer around you, but maybe you are not paying much attention and you haven't really noticed them. Perhaps you are focused on other things or on another person, but keep in mind that maybe that's the universe that's sending you signals that say there are options that you have not explored yet, and that you should not limit yourself in situations that appear to be stuck. So if you felt that something isn't moving ahead in the way you expected it to move, this week you'll get the chance to open up to new situations, to meet new people that would make you feel loved and appreciated again. The Six of Wands is Jupiter in Leo. That's why this week you will be able to act and speak with authority. You will do extremely well in situations that require leadership abilities, and you will express yourself in ways that ooze confidence and generosity. In fact, you will find that other people are quite generous to you this week, so that's a good time to ask for a loan or to have a job interview, as you will get impressive results. It's possible that you will set a new goal this week, or you will achieve a goal, because under the energy of the Six of Wands you will feel quite ambitious. You will feel that anything is possible. And the good news is that you will find supporters too, people who share your vision and approve of your plans and actions. For Pisces, we had the Queen of Wands, and now it's the Page of Swords. You will feel very curious and inquisitive this week, especially if a certain person, possibly a female, since you had the Queen of Wands last week, if that certain person revealed something very significant to you and you are thinking about what your next step should be. The Queen of Wands is a supportive presence around you, and it's someone who wants to show you the right way, and she might have given you a heads up that someone around you is stirring the pot, so to speak, trying to cause trouble. Wait and listen before you act, because there will be a tendency to act on impulse this week, or to say something that later you might regret. So try to hold your tongue and give it some thought before you speak. The aforementioned person is probably trying to get attention by giving out private information. It's very important not to share your secrets this week. Also, you will notice there are gaps in someone's story, and you may suspect that they are lying to you. Don't fill the gaps of your unanswered questions with your overactive imagination. Stick to the facts and avoid making assumptions. The truth will come to light for sure this week, and you may be very surprised when the whole story will be revealed. Communications will be intense this week. Expect many messages, phone calls, emails. Try to filter communications through a rational lens, and don't let strong emotions get in the way. Try to give responses that are short and reasonable, and don't over-explain things, as you may come across as dishonest. Your mind will be very sharp this week, and your thoughts clear and concise, And that's why you can do really well in anything that has to do with exams, interviews, and with expressing your thoughts in writing or verbally. If you're thinking to apply for something, a job or a service, this is a good week to do so, as you will probably get a fast and positive response. One thing that you should keep in mind is that the energy of this page and pages in general is quite strong, but it's immature, and this page is holding a sword, but he doesn't know exactly how to use it, which means that you may find yourself in a situation where you'll sense that you don't have the knowledge or experience to deal with it. If that's the case, I remind you that you have a strong ally by your side, and that's the Queen of Wands from last week, so don't hesitate to ask for advice from someone who's more seasoned and experienced than you. So these were the tarot horoscopes for the week of November 8 to November 15. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will see you next week.